Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go take down the trail.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
You get pretty tired at the end of the day. If you're from the East Coast, it might be a little bit different. So really, that's one factor. The other factor is weather, and we've actually been pretty lucky today. It's been like very mild temperature-wise. There's been a slight breeze pretty much all day, which has kept it cool, I would say. But because of that breeze, there've also been, some pretty long points. So players out here are used to grinding out and working hard for long points.
So both of these teams are currently 2-0 on the day. So one of them clearly will not leave here 2-0. Both really looking for that unbeaten element coming out of day one of pool play. AMP was on the live stream earlier. They beat Dragon Thrust handily by 5, and really it was back and forth, but they really took control of the game. Metro North, they were the runner-up at Club Nationals last year. They have about 10 new players to the team. What do additions like that really do then to change that team dynamic coming into a tournament like this?
Yeah, so for sure from their team's perspective, I'm sure it's challenging, right, to figure out where their strengths and weaknesses lie, what kind of structure they have in place to address those strengths and weaknesses. I think that the interesting thing actually that probably works to Metro North's advantage is they're unscoutable. If you watch what they were doing last year, it's not going to be the same as what they're doing here today. So that makes it hard to game plan for them, but it also makes it really exciting. And I think that with some new faces, we'll see a lot of different looks from Metro North. And I know you spoke to the coaches before this game. Who are some players on Metro North that we should be looking out for that maybe we don't know about?
Sure. So one of the coaches, John Korber, really mentioned that Elsa Regnell, she is an exchange student from Sweden who happens to be living in Connecticut right now and is apparently one of the best players really in Sweden and is picked up on their team. So she's been very good, very standout.
Yeah, and she's number 14, so keep an eye out for her on the screen.
She's walking out to be on their starting line. And both of these teams from that northeast area, so probably only about a 2 or 3 hour driving distance, yet meeting here in Minnesota. That's always how it ends up working, though, isn't it?
That's always how it ends up working. So we're really excited to be here, and if you have any comments or anything that you want to tweet at us, you can tweet at me at QXHNZ, and then Emmy, I assume you do have a Twitter as well.
I do, yes. I'm at Emmy Fitz. So we'll try and monitor the Twitter conversation. You can also join the overall tournament conversation by using the hashtag US Open Champs.
Yeah, and so I commentated a game earlier today, but this is my first time commentating much mixed ultimate, so I'm really excited, but also very open to feedback. So if you have any thoughts, let me know. We just want to get better. I mean,
exactly.
Have you commentated much mixed ultimate before?
I think the game earlier today was the first mixed game. I've done men's and had done some women's, but that was the first mixed.
All right. Well, we're excited, and the poll's underway.
It is. So Metro North will start on offense. Andrew Bosco is back to handle, but right away there's a call. This game, it looked like there was a call. Instead, I think the disc is just going to the brick.
Yeah, confusion there as to whether or not the disc landed in and rolled out or landed out of bounds.
The game is being observed. Metro North going underneath out of a vertical stack to start out. Swings and then a layout bid from Dixon.
That's the way that you want to start a game.
She had a couple very well-timed Ds in the earlier stream. So now Amp right away, but it is tipped and bobbled. Metro North gets another shot on O. Swings around to Middleton. Middleton back to Stern. Over to Bosco. Underneath to Korber. Great swings and continues, and almost looked like there was a foot block, but that stayed up.
Metro North a little stalled here, but
And
otherwise having some nice flow. Looks like there's a call there. There's a foul call on that catch, and no contest. The disc will remain with Metro North.
so disc is on the far sideline. Korber puts up a backhand, looking for Regnell, and that'll put on the first goal of the game.
And that's exactly who we talked about. I mean, number 14, Renell, she was their ISO cut at the beginning of the possession, and then she's the one hauling in that goal for the score. Hold for Metro North. They had to work for it. There's a layout block.
Right.
Wouldn't say it was smooth sailing, but a score is a score. So.
Exactly. You'll take it the way you can get it. One standout player who's a great friend of mine, Chris Mazer, moved from New York to Dallas, has since on moved to California. He got so much press. Ulti-World, Charlie Eisenhood is just the big joke is that he just loves Chris so much. And it was interesting because Korber was really saying, you know, I know that a lot of people said, oh, Mazer's not here, Mazer's not here. No offense, Chris, because I know you're watching. They said he's not that much, like, we're not that affected. We're not as affected by it as everybody thinks we are. We're still a pretty good team.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, obviously, in this game that we play, there's a lot of roster turnover, and people are moving all the time. It's not like we're, many players here certainly do play outside of the club series, but it's not like you're getting traded team to team.
No.
Maybe if you change jobs, you're going to move cities.
Right.
So.
Young professionals move jobs a lot. That's just kind of what happens.
Amp on offense now, isolating Mike Ing deep.
Right out of reach for the defender, so Mike Ing with the score. Amp answers back.
A lot smoother of a hold there. Really nice inside backhand to that space. We'll get a chance to see it again here. Nice inside backhand. And Ing does a nice job of milking it. He knows exactly where that line is, and he can jump in for the score.
And the wind definitely gusty today. Certainly really didn't have an effect on that particular throw, but we have seen different throws have that, or a lot of IO flicks, I think, will get caught up in that wind.
Yeah, I think that this is the kind of wind that some of the better throwers are, they're going to kind of shine through in these kind of scenarios. And I'm sure we'll see our fair share of turnovers from some blustery winds that catch people unawares. Yeah, it's gusty. It is gusty. Sometimes it feels calm, and then all of a sudden it'll pick up.
And apparently there was a little bit of lineup confusion with Amp. One of the players went to run on the field, realized she wasn't wearing her jersey. So she is taking a point, and I think Dixon came out again. Also to note that Metro North is running 4 women, so Amp following in that gender ratio.
So have you gotten clarity? I think that U.S. Open has I'm not clear on whether or not it's like offense decides or...
From what I've seen, it is offense calls. In the earlier game of Amp and Dragon Thrust, there were only just a handful of points
Okay.
that were 4 women.
Metro North with the disc here. A nice inside break to the far side of the field.
Now centering it back. Metro North keeping that patience in the red zone and going right up the 4 side, but that continuation to Aaron Leonard is no good.
Let's go, Red!
Some sort of call. Unclear if it's a foul or a pick. Foul called. Disc will come back, it sounds like. Or maybe not. They'll continue to discuss.
And so with players, they are able to go to the observer if they'd like. The observers can also confer together, which looks like what they'll do. It doesn't seem like, though, the foul was on the attempted throw for the score, though.
I think it was off of the disc in the stack, it looks like. So the disc will remain with Bosco.
Bosco swinging off the
Bosco and Stern
sideline.
seeming like they're going to be really important for this game.
Lots of fakes and a second try for Aaron Leonard at that front cone. This time that converts.
Yeah, that's a hold for Metro North, and the two styles of play that we've seen are pretty different even just to begin with. You've seen a lot of short passes in a vertical set here for Metro North. So we see another shot of this replay and the score by Leonard. And AMP, on the other hand, their one offensive set, they had a horizontal stack and were isolating players more in space. And it was, 2 passes to a score, and it was a very short score. So we'll see how both teams sort of adjust their defenses to try to slow things down, get poaches in lanes, that kind of thing, as the game progresses.
And I think that is so important for both teams. They both come with very different approaches, but then to keep with their approaches and make adjustments based on defensive looks, but then not. A lot of teams will say, oh, well, they're hucking a lot, maybe we should huck a lot too. But if that's not your bread and butter, then stick with what works for that personality, for that team.
Metro North here on D. AMP's O-line is out on the field. 3 women and 4 men for this line.
Brian Foreman with the disc to pull for Metro North. Thompson, that pull lands in, rolls around the end zone a little bit. Matt Zumbrum now. Flashing across Shields, and there was some traffic ahead of that disc, so ended up being D'd.
That throw
Eugene
from
Yum.
Shields to Mazzafari, not able to connect. There's a nice poach that came in lane, caused Mazzafari to drop that disc. Metro North here on offense. Yum with the disc.
Come on, D. Come on, D. Come on, D. Come on, D.
And Metro North really moving quickly, so that pick call stopped a lot of momentum they had coming under. Young still surveying, count getting higher. He dishes off to Canetti, back to Yum. And high release backhand to Brian Foreman.
Looks like some confusion. Yum thought maybe that his teammate was open because of a pick, but Foreman had just created that separation from his defender.
And so you can see Foreman, he takes the defender turned to look the other direction. Foreman takes advantage of that to get that score. So Metro North
with a break.
With the
First
break
of the game.
Now their lead is 2. The girls' ultimate movement has their annual update coming up, this evening. That will be live streamed on the USA Ultimate Facebook page. That will happen at 7:40 p.m. Central tonight. It does include a short presentation on how things went for GUM, what they want to do next year. They want to hear your suggestions and input. You can tune in tonight, comment there, and then also submit your questions to the event by using hashtag #StuckOnGum on Twitter. GUM doing a lot with clinics and tournaments to really elevate the presence for girls in the game.
I wish I could go attend tonight, but I have attended in the past, and I encourage the players that are here obviously to attend. But if you're at home, it's an important time for you to also be able to sort of get an update on where we're at. Big pull from Metro North. Amp on offense here.
So Trissolini back over to Lake.
Norma with the disc.
High release backhand. She's a tall receiver though. That is...
Looks like it's being called down.
Even by his own teammates.
Yes, Trissolini there, that throw just a little low.
So Metro North back in scoring position. Lauren Doyle over to Jackie File.
Nice squeeze mark here from the Amp defender as the stall count rises. Back to Doyle.
And over the top, looks like some miscommunication. And that wind just kind of caught the throw a little bit out the back.
We've got Normal picking up the disc, walking it up the end zone. Metro North will set that zone again. Nice break throw to get it to the break side.
And Amp finding the holes in that zone. Trissolini back over to Normile. Johnson back to Trissolini. Hammer over the top, but doesn't quite float long enough. There were two receivers were kind of close, not close enough. Now Metro North with another
they
shot.
Can't quite connect. Metro North now on offense.
And layout bid attempt, but Metro North instead putting up the huck, and there's Trissolini.
Getting that one back after his turnover. Making sure they retain possession, don't get broken once again.
So that zone back on for Metro North. Amp though finding the holes, kind of baiting that crossfield, but doesn't take it. Instead, Trissolini now swinging around to Normile. Back to Trissolini.
Normile unfazed with, I can't quite tell, number 9 on Metro North, who's, Disabato is a 5'6" player, but his mark looks pretty big to me.
Yeah.
She's not the tallest player out there. It's quite an imposing mark.
So now Metro North in the red zone, back on offense. Little handler give and go, the far sideline. Swings it to Lauren Doyle.
Back to Murphy. Appears that there is a foul call of sorts here or some sort of call between Doyle and Mazafari. Metro North's Murphy will hold on to the disc. It's got Doyle in that reset space, as well as Grinsvag.
So now a little bit of discussion on where the stall count is coming in on 5. And up the line.
Looking for Doyle, but Mazafari is able to get a hand in there. Just poke that disc out of position.
Amp with another opportunity. That cup still there.
Normile over to Ing.
Lake. Back to Trisellini. Amp using a lot of dumps behind to then get the swing off. That's floating. But Normile completes it. Cup sets. Trisellini crashes. Now swings around the cup.
Really nice touch throw there to Normile.
High release. Now swinging across, Ing. Ing thinks he's found an opening, but actually Lucas Murphy is there. Grinsvag swings over to Doyle. Doyle back to Murphy. Little every other layout attempt. Metro North still not in. Raymond with the dish.
Finding Murphy, and that is a break for Metro North.
A break for Metro North and bookends for Murphy.
That's true. Yeah, nice point there for Metro North. They really set that zone and got some turns out of it, and then were patient afterwards. You'll see the replay right here. Murphy using his body to shield out Ing and ensure the completion.
Such a tiny space.
Tiny window, tiny space, but with that little backhand dish, it's no problem.
So now Metro North has taken a 3-goal advantage over Amp.
It looks like they are going for women. So I realized that I'd asked this question earlier today about like the 4 women versus 3 women, and I was remembering that somebody had tweeted at me that here at the U.S. Open, the mixed rules are that they're alternating gender by end zone instead of by offense dictates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Great. Then that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. I think we're just starting to figure out some different ways of dictating gender in mixed ultimate. So I'm excited that there's like some more discussion around this and some more like trying new things.
Exactly.
Seeing what might fit.
And certainly something you see more with Diff releasing some more that they're trying to implement on the international level. And then it's neat to see that trickle down then nationally here in the U.S.
Amp on offense.
Zoombram with the disc. Amp sending, at first looked like they were sending someone deep from the 2 spot, actually ended up breaking around. Now Pelig.
Nice break throw all the way out to space.
Swings to Bobby Roos. Dixon gets it back to Roos. And just like that, Amp has a score on a Thompson with that reception.
Nice spacing there from Amp. They never held the disc for more than 2 or 3 seconds. Were able to hit sideline to that inside lane to score. We'll see this once more. Sitting on the inside, faking that forehand around and creating that inside lane for Anna Thompson to get the goal. And that's really needed by Amp at this point. They needed that hole. Now they Now they can get their D-line out there, try some new things, slow down this Metro North offense, see if they can get a break.
So Metro North 4 to Amp 2. And I should follow up. Chris Mazer said he agrees. He thinks Metro North is a great team and they'll do really well regardless if he's on it or not.
Lovely.
Tuning in. I believe they're
Chris.
in Dallas.
How's it going?
Yes. Great. He and his fiance Lindsay, great people. So now AMP will pull Justin Carter to pull.
Really nice pull, floating.
It looks like there's an offsides call.
And that would have been a perfect pull.
Such a great pull.
Incredible. So much hang time. Literally the very back line of the end zone. Unfortunately, it's going to come back on an offsides. And I'm not sure which team that's on. My guess, it tends to be usually the defense that's offsides. So if I had to guess, I'm going to say it's AMP. But who knows? See if they can recreate that fantastic pull.
Exactly. So Carter with the disc again to pull, probably trying to remember what are all of the things that I did on that last pull because I want to exactly recreate it.
Another fantastic pull. This one looks like it's almost going to go out the back. But I spoke just too soon. Another
It
perfect
stays
pull.
in.
It's that Swedish player that we were just talking about.
Rignell now underneath Palmer. Over to Yum. Now Korber on this near sideline. Breaks it to Middleton. Looking at Bosco. Bosco swings across. Korber lays out, keeps possession.
Yeah, nice pass there. And a nice grab by Korber.
Korber around. Stern now in the center of the field.
Open side, Carter!
And Allison Yum up the line to Stern. And there's another dish at that front cone.
And just like that, Metro North holds.
They extend their lead to 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty easy hold, but as we see here on the replay, there's bidding defenders left and right. Almost comical in slow motion, actually. But I have to think that that's a pretty good defensive point for AMP. Metro North really had to move their mark and create windows by using their fakes. And Metro North also had to make some pretty nice grabs there in order to retain possession. So that's a process win. And as this entire game goes on, that pressure will continue to build and build and build.
And part of a D-line's responsibility, yes, you want to get the break, but you want to make it as difficult for that O-line as possible. So if you are bidding left and right, that is creating additional mental fatigue that maybe will pay off later on in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last round of the day, it's getting close to 5 o'clock dinner time. Or sorry, getting close to 6 o'clock dinner time.
So Metro North with a disc to pull. Dave Todayin. Another great pull. Lands closer to the front of the end zone.
But still, nice hang time.
Hostak for AMP. And that huck goes up.
Looking for Mazafari, and that is a perfect throw from, I believe that's Thompson. Anna Thompson, yeah, to Mazafari.
And you love seeing the woman-to-woman connection, especially with a huck, too.
I know, and what I like a lot about this huck is that there's no male defender that's coming out, or female defender coming off the break side. All the other players on the AMP kept their defenders engaged and kept them out of that deep space, opening up the space for Mazafari to attack.
So crucial in mixed play, too, because you have men on the field. They can cover a lot of ground. If there's much float on that throw at all, come in and really help for that poach D. So AMP answers with a quick O point.
Yeah, they've had some faster O points than Metro North will, and I think sort of as this game progresses, you'll have to wonder, you know, can Metro North's O-line continue to sort of grind out these really long points? And at one point, are there going to be more mistakes and turnovers on that O-line? Just from the pure amount of touches that each player has had to have.
Right, and the fatigue later on in the day, that's usually when your form is affected. So AMP certainly looking for a break here. And Regnell with the disc to Korber. Korber swinging around Bosco. Bosco to Middleton. Back to Bosco. Bosco to Stern.
Big bid there from AMP. Up to Korber.
Continuing on that break side, but now looking to get it back into the center of the field. Instead puts up what looked like a bit of a bailout throw, but that worked.
Yeah, nice catch there from Stoltz. She does a nice job of securing that disc as it's coming in pretty hot and pretty fast. And I actually had not seen her in the end zone, so I was like, oh, miscommunication, but actually quite visionary throw there from Korber to connect. He had to put that throw above the two players that were directly in front of him at the front of that cone and curve it into his receiver. Really nice throw and a really nice catch.
Great continuation. We did receive a viewer comment. It appears that Tadayan has some kind of streamer or something, red streamer coming off of the back of his shorts. Don't know if that's a tail or a flag, but we are on the case. We're going to figure out what is that. It almost looks like a karate belt. He's right in front of us here.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Why? What is it?
Flag football? I don't know.
Right. So, stay tuned. We'll get you some answers. Now, AMP back on offense. AMP really known for their young athletic talent, lots of speed. They came in third at the Pro Elite Challenge. That was about 3 weeks ago outside of Denver. And their coach said he was actually pleasantly surprised, but said, you know, this tournament really gives them that opportunity
to continue to build, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly.
Thompson
it reminds you of
here.
productive habits was the phrase. I liked that. Productive habits.
AMP had an all-female isolated set there. Now they're out of it. Muzaffari with a disc.
And now looking to with that strike up line. Heen and Muzaffari with the very, very determined catch there.
Yeah, very nice grab there by Muzaffari. Good job by her teammate to put it right in front of her where only she could get it. So nice bid by the defender, but really, you know, Muzaffari boxed her out very handily. Gave the defense no shot at that. So it was really, what I really enjoyed about that point that AMP did was that they had all of their women isolated in space, and Metro North picked up on that. So there was a male poach that then came into that deep space and took away that deep option for the AMP offense. But then the AMP male player that was being poached off of recognized that and came into the lane, gained yards, and then they transitioned sort of into their flow offense. But that was a really nice moment. I really enjoyed that.
You love to see teams really using their women and then creating just good ultimate as a result. So yes, there's the recognition of that from Metro North, but then well, the men are important factors on the team too, so now let's use both genders really well.
And we've got more information about this tail thing. Tony Leonardo just tweeted at me. He said he's worn it every game for 10 years at least. It's a flag, but we always thought it was like a tail. Doesn't quite get to the bottom of it for me.
But why?
I know,
if
but
he's
why?
worn it for 10 years and it's a bit of a mystery, I doubt he'll tell us today, but we'll put on our journalist hats and try and figure it out.
Deep shot here.
Out of the back of the end zone. Deep shot.
Wow.
And Palmer, it was just out of his reach.
Yeah,
I
it's just
thought
a
he
couple,
might get it.
You know, maybe an inch or two.
Earlier in the day, he probably would have caught it. It's a call downfield. Does not affect the play. Carter swings around.
Nice clear by Dixon there to make that breakthrough possible.
That flick now continuing on the break side. Carter swings. Benelli. There's a stoppage of play.
Nice throw and go move there.
A lot of patience from the AMP offense. And Dix finds Dixon, but there is a pick call.
And she's not in the end zone, so another shot here for Metro North to really clamp down. And a quick inside break to Normile. But there's a reason she's open. It's because there's been a pick.
When someone's that open in the end zone. And another pick.
Yeah, I think that one was a little confusing. I think the defender, Middleton, is saying that she did not actually give her an opportunity to set up where she had, you know.
To be not picked.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dixon says, okay, I'm going to find another target. She has that IO flick to Sarah Johnson.
And that's a break from AMP. And what I really liked about that entire possession was all these really nice inside throws to players cutting towards the break side. And oftentimes it's really easy to throw behind a player when you're throwing in that inside lane. But you can tell that it's something that they've been working on and that they've practiced and that they're really good at. So we'll see if Metro North is able to, adjust to that. See like, okay, this is AMP's strength. How can we adjust? What can we do to take that away? And maybe that's going to be a zone later on. Maybe that's just a little bit of a flatter mark. I'm not sure. But, of course, in order to play D, you've got to play some offense. So Metro North with another O-line out there looking to secure that hold so that their D-line can get back out on the field.
So 4 women back on the field for either team.
I don't know if you can hear through our mics, but AMP just had a massive cheer directly in front of us with Dixon running up and down the lines. A little hard to focus when you've got somebody that's that pumped up. And she's pumped. And she's yelling, let's get another one. And I love that energy and that concept. Metro North on offense.
So much hang time from that pole allows AMP to set up person defense. Korber around to Stern. Stern back to Bosco. Bosco to Stern. Swings. Doyle. Lots of handler movement in the backfield.
Massive bid there from Thompson.
Ragnell swings around. Finds teammate underneath. Now Korber. Stoppage of play.
Korber. Up to Leonard.
And there is a stop, another stoppage. I think vertical stacks just lend themselves to picks in general.
Well, yeah, and I think at the end of the day, like everything becomes harder, and that discipline to set up your cuts and find that open space becomes harder and harder.
And Metro North finds all of that handler movement working there, finds Stern.
For the goal, and that's a nice, and that's a needed hold for them. We'll get a chance to see this again. Nice throw. The defender does take that initial line, but the thrower is able to go loop around the defender, and no problem for Stern.
So half is at 8. So Amp looks like calling a timeout.
No, so it's hard to tell. I think that might just be in between points.
I think it was just in between points.
It seems like they do like a full team huddle in the middle of the field.
It takes amazing organization to do that
I know,
so
and
quickly.
It takes a lot of team buy-in to be like, okay, this is what we're doing, and we're all doing it together. We're coming together. We're making eye contact. We're supporting each other. We're drinking water. You know, whatever it is that we need to do, we're cheering. And I think to indicate the end of that sort of huddle, everybody claps together. And I mean, I can't hear from here if they have a countdown or something. But,
right.
It's pretty cool.
And whenever you add
the
observers, that makes the time in between points. You say go quicker, it goes the length it's supposed to go, but nobody ever really enforces that when it's a non-observed game, unless you have a very, very time-conscious player.
Yeah. Metro North here on D. We'll get a chance to see Amp's offense.
4 women up top in the cutting position.
Yeah, interesting set to have. Like you said, they have 4 women downfield, but it looks like Metro North is set up in a zone. So I wonder if there will be any adjustments. I assume, yeah, Nora Miles back to handle. We're not too surprised to see that.
And now working it up that far sideline. Blake give and goes, and they just kind of give it and go right up the sideline.
Yeah, Ing with that score there. Nice give and go movement, like you said, on the open side. Metro North not really able to slow them down or challenge them enough to create or to make Amp go to the break side. You'll see here one more time, just a quick dishy there to Ing for the easy score. Amp did a nice job of moving that disc with pace. I think sometimes if you're, receiving the pull and all of a sudden there's a zone, you think, okay, what is this zone? What's going on? Where can I throw? Instead of just moving the disc, instead of just resetting the disc and making the defense sort of adjust to that new angle of attack. And so Amp did a really nice job there.
And they took what they gave them. It looked like trying to keep this really large part of the field guarded. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
worked it right up that sideline. So now it is a 1-point game. 7-6, Metro North.
Yeah, Metro North potentially taking half here if this O-line can hold.
So Ing to pull for Metro North. Ing only 20 years old, 6'1".
Yeah, Ing is a sophomore currently, or just finished a sophomore year at Pitt. So he's a player that I've recognized from that Pittsburgh team that's historically done pretty well at nationals and a fun team to watch. There's a number of actually Pitt players on this team, and 2 of the women from the women's team that I know of at least is Normile, number 36, as well as Norris, who I believe is number 8, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, she must be a different number. But yeah, both a lot of strong players coming from that college program, and wonderful to see. I'm sure there are others that I'm missing, and I really apologize.
But that's why we're here, getting more footage of them, give them more exposure.
Yeah.
Their friends and family should shout them out in the comments.
Yeah,
so
let me know.
everyone
Let me
knows
know who I'm missing here.
who they are. So Amp
With a chance to break here.
Now Walsh swings around to Normile, back over to Pelig. Pelig probably about 3 feet outside the goal line. Pick called. And Ing breaks free.
But let
Pick
me
called.
guess, it's a pick.
What do you know?
Yeah, these pick calls are really slowing this game down. It's a bit of a shame from from a viewer's perspective, and I'm sure as players it's also equally frustrating. It feels like, you're just about to throw the disc and you feel like you're creating some movement upfield, and then everybody has to come to a stop.
So trying again. Handler give and goes. Pelig, though, still with the disc. High release to Dixon.
And another pick?
I think there was a foul called.
Oh, potentially, yeah. Nice switch there. I believe it's, let's see, it's hard to tell. Bosco, I believe, switched with Middleton in order to take away that up-the-line strike by Normile. Really effective with that switch.
So Pelig remains with the disc. He is marked by Middleton. Just like Sheena mentioned, Bosco taking away that dump space. Bosco, one of the more underrated handlers.
And just like that, finding Dixon in that same space that she'd attacked before. This time, no foul call, no pick. Amp can finally, celebrate that. And that's a break for Amp.
So Amp will tie it with that goal. We're at 7s. So next point takes it to half. How important is that momentum of being the team that takes it to half?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think it's necessarily even like a score, we're up at half. I think it's more like we're in control of this game. And I think that the team that scores here is like, we're in control of this game. We're deciding when to score and you're not going to stop us.
Right. Certainly very crucial for both.
Yeah, going into this halftime. Metro North, very similar offensive line that you have out there. I'm not surprised necessarily. This is Elite Ultimate. They're not going to just give up on their O-line if they get, broken twice. Most teams, well, not most teams, but some teams certainly decide to take timeouts if they're, if they get broken twice.
Sorry, I was distracted. Dixon talking about you look hungry. As a Cowboys fan, I can't help but think of Ezekiel Elliott, feed the beast. She's telling her teammates to feed the beast. So sorry.
No, you're good.
There.
Middleton with a disc. Nice move there. Metro North on offense.
And now continuing underneath, Rignell quickly up line to Tadean. Near sideline, Stern to Bosco. Bosco and Stern just really working together with Korber taking control of the offense.
Bosco.
Great fake now, Stern, but high, and Korber still reads it. Looks about the third go of where he thought it might end up.
Yeah, and he's able to haul that in, and there's that hold that Metro North has been trying to get for the last 2 points. Finally, we'll get a chance to see this once more time. A stutter step, a jump. He thinks he can get it, and
Ragnell coming in just in case, hoping to clean up some trash if she's needed. Well, that will take us to half. So we will take a break, but when we come back, we'll have our second half of play of Metro North versus Amp. You're watching USA Ultimate's coverage of the US Open Club Championships. We hope you're enjoying this amazing coverage provided by USA Ultimate and Fulcrum Media. We'll be right back after this.
Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go take down the field.
An Ulti-World subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Bird Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
Welcome back to Blaine, Minnesota. We are at halftime of the final round of the first day of play at the U.S. Open Club Championships. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald alongside Chena Titcomb. Chena, what do you think are some of the keys for both of these teams? The very close game to kind of close it out in this second half.
Yeah, I think AMP will continue to isolate their female players in space, looking to have some cross-gender hucks and then women-to-women hucks as well. They've been really effective at that. Metro North, likely if they can keep moving the disc quickly between their handlers with that give-go movement, that up-line movement, that's where they're going to find success. So conversely, those, both teams are going to try to take away those things from the other team, and so we'll sort of see what that looks like as the game progresses and the second half gets underway.
And neither team really has been able to create a cushion of a lead because there's just so much intensity on both sides of the disc.
Isolation
Trissolini
set.
finds a lot of yardage underneath to Ing. Over to Thompson. Thompson really finds
Mozaffari there.
Mozaffari, and looked like that would be down, but stays alive. Mozaffari swings to Thompson, back to Lake, and around right outside the end zone, not in, to Shields, but
It's like there is a call, unclear here, but Shields will retain possession. And I'm not sure what the call is here.
you would think pick, but I'm not certain. Ooh. We're seeing a thumbs up, so I guess as long as everyone on the field knows what's happening, we're good. Shields still with the disc. Her defender now on.
Nice break throw.
Around and
Looking for Thompson, and that's that inside space that's a little behind Thompson. And as the day goes on, right, the end of the day, second half, those throws become harder and harder.
So now Metro North with the chance.
Doyle with the disc.
Let's go defense! Get Shields! How do you think about it?
Lots of movement. Foreman. Stoppage.
Come on, G!
Got Doyle deep downfield in that really deep space. She'll likely be coming under.
Now underneath was Molly McCauley. She swings around to Murphy. Murphy to Yum. Another call.
Nice swim move there from Yum to get open on that in that upline space. And unfortunately, that power position sort of negated by that pick call.
So Yum looking for the handler reset to Murphy. Murphy puts that disc up at the air.
Looking
And
for Foreman, but it's broken up by Ing. Looks like there was a foul call, and that actually turned away right as the play
I
occurred.
saw it, but I do not have good perspective because their bodies are closer to us. So I do not have an opinion. Looking at the replay,
How you feel about that, commentators? How you feel about that call?
we will leave it to the observer, but it appears like it will stay no foul.
Yeah.
Now that that's settled, I do agree with the call.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the right call. On the replay, it does look like Ing gets the disc first. There's contact after the disc is D'd. But I think, you know, when you're playing in that moment, sometimes it's hard to tell, did that contact occur before, you know, the disc was out of my reach, or, you know, after?
Which is one amazing element of the sport, is having that discussion, because that gives both people a little bit of time to think, oh, well, actually, you know, maybe that did happen afterwards. I take it back. Or, no, you're right.
Mazafari with the disc.
Faking, looking for Ing under. Ing, very convincing huck fake. Instead opts for the hammer over the top to Rosso. Underneath to Lake. Lake with a lefty backhand to
Finding Shields.
Shields to Thompson. Thompson to Ing.
And that's beautiful offense. They're just hitting the inside, then the around, just marching down that break side. And it's just a really nice point there from Amp. I believe that's a hold for Amp.
They'll tie it at 8 apiece.
See that, you get to see that nice throw once again from Thompson to Ing. Ing clearly a big component of this Amp offense.
And I think that was bookends.
That was bookends for him. Yeah. Yeah, nice movement there. I'm really enjoying watching Amp utilize all 7 people that are on the field in different ways and in different positions. It's a joy to watch. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am.
I am certainly enjoying it. I hope our viewers are enjoying it as well. Certainly amazing footage and coverage provided by USA Ultimate and Fulcrum Media to have so many live streams throughout a weekend.
I have no idea how Fulcrum Media is doing this. They're just a bunch of ballers. That's all I can say. We've got so many people sort of behind the scenes. People, you know, operating that 50-yard camera. Shout out to the crew, as well as the slow-mo camera. So when you see slow-mo, that's from a different angle, of course. And the producer and the director and everyone is so fabulous.
A lot of people make it happen, but it's actually a pretty lean crew for the amount that is being provided. Staggering, really. Bosco with the disc. He finds Korber. Korber looking for that huck. That's floating. Ragnell, though, out of reach. I really think that was the wind catching it a little bit.
Yeah, the wind caught that a little bit, and the throw was a little bit over her head, and she was running directly underneath it, so she couldn't tell if she needed to adjust her angle well enough, and by the time she realized it, it was a little too late. So Amp here with an opportunity to break.
So Bonelli underneath, but Bova just a little too much on it. Kind of clapped out of her hands.
He has a fast throw there.
Bosco picking up.
Looking to find a reset. Nothing is open. He has to throw crossfield blade.
And it stays alive.
And looks like... let's see, who is that? Korber's calling. Looks like Korber's calling a foul
on Flamberg,
and they're discussing the amount of contact when it occurred and who was in that position first. A really nice effort there from Metro North. I believe that's Allison Yum. Just to track that play and just attempt to make something out of nothing. Pretty impressive.
It really is. Especially as close to the sideline.
Yeah, and she tried to keep that disc in bounds. She was laying out, and I think in the process of it, I think it sort of...
So the call goes to the observer, and foul called. So Korber will take the disc at the front of the end zone.
So as soon as he taps the disc here, everyone will be able to move, and he'll return to the front of the end zone line. So Korber with the disc.
With Sarah, Sarah with. Sarah ready, yes, Carolyn, not looking.
Looking to dump.
Yeah, Red, work, work, Red, work.
High release backhand. That's good. Aaron Leonard's there for the score.
Yeah, nice work there by Metro North. I think, yeah, you know, that throw that went up, Amp has to be proud of that team pressure D that created that big forehand loopy huck thing to the far side. Unfortunately, there was a foul.
But there were no open options.
There were no open options, and it was a rising stall count. So that's a win for Amp. And then, of course, you know, if Metro North just has to hold on to the disc for a couple of seconds in that red zone, that's also a win. So this has been a really good game, and Amp putting a lot of pressure on Metro North, and Metro North definitely stepping up to the plate and accepting that pressure and moving forward and pushing through it.
So Metro North with a 1-goal lead over Amp, 9-8.
You know, I'm not actually familiar too much with the history of these two teams. Do you know if they've played each other yet this year or last year?
I'm sure they played each other last year. I'm not entirely sure which. You know who would be a great person? Chris Mazer, I bet. Chris, tell us a little bit of the history about, if you're still watching, about the history between Amp and Metro North. They're so close to each other, I couldn't imagine them not being in the same region, at least.
You know, Amp from Philadelphia and Metro North, of course, from New York.
So Amp, since 2006, they've qualified for the club nationals 11 times and competed at the 2010 World's Championships in Prague.
Very impressive.
Metro North, a newer team comprised of a lot of open and women's players that came to form, but certainly a lot of experience on their side as well.
Amp's offense here looking very smooth. Disc is moving quickly between players. Thompson.
Great
Beautiful
break around.
Backhand. Holy cannoli.
And continues with the breaks.
Yeah, we have Zumbrum hitting Mazafari there on that far cone for a really nice hold. I think there was only one moment when Shields held the disc for probably 5 or 6 seconds. But then the disc was able to move quickly, and Thompson with that really nice low release backhand. Got a chance to see that throw to Mazafari just now. Amp showing off just
so crucial.
how incredible they are at throwing.
It's
And it's not to say that Metro North is they're not strong throwers. It's just that the amount of skill that's on display here for Amp is really impressive.
It definitely is, especially a lot of people think of Amp as, okay, really fast, a lot of big athletic receivers, but to have such great fundamentals, to be able to have those beautiful backhand arounds, makes it incredibly fun to watch. So we're tied at 9s.
Yeah, what a great game we have here, folks.
A lot of good ultimate today.
Yeah, I think that on a number of the streams, there have just been some really close games. I mean, the game that I was commentating before, which was Slow White versus Mischief, very competitive game, very close game. I know the round before there was a couple of women's games. There's Brute Squad against Molly Brown.
I just did Showdown versus Traffic, where that was an ultimate point win as well.
Oh, wow, okay.
Showdown taking the victory.
Showdown beat Traffic, incredible, wow. Yeah, so this is why USA Ultimate is providing this coverage, because there's so much incredible Ultimate happening and no one capturing these stories, no one capturing these games. So it's pretty incredible to just be part of it. I feel very, very special, very humbled to be here.
Certainly incredibly humbled. These teams fighting so hard on the field as well. And kind of a bailout huck goes up. Dixon's there. Great closing speed on Dixon's part.
Yeah, and it looks like that was a high stall bailout throw. And the discussion on the field is whether or not it was a stall at that point, or if it's just a turn and it's, Metro North got that disc off before the stall 10. It looks like it will just remain a turnover with Dixon. She'll keep the disc. She caught that throw, so she'll still have possession of the disc.
And Dixon now finding Ing. Ing break inside to Walsh. High pass over the head of the intended receiver, Middleton, with the disc instead.
Middleton, a lefty, allowing her to throw that throw to Yum, but unfortunately that one's incomplete, coming in pretty hot. Ing is picking up the disc.
Another opportunity for Amp. Robinson to Walsh. Up the line.
To the speedy Normile. That's a fun matchup. Normile and Middleton.
Another backhand break. Ing
in traffic.
Sandwiched.
Yeah, I don't know how he was able to catch that, but it looks like, of course, there's a pick. And yeah, this Normile Middleton matchup is really fun to watch. Middleton's so
and we've got
dynamic.
bookends for Dixon.
And that's a break for Amp. They go up 10-9 against Metro North.
Big point.
Yeah, lots of quick movement there from Amp. Bouncing the disc from sideline to sideline as we see that catch from Dixon there. And Metro North sort of had that big bailout, trying to connect with somebody downfield at a stall 9 throw, but unfortunately cannot come down with it.
Dixon with good awareness too, seeing once the stall count gets high, okay, I'm in a last back or last-ish back scenario. I need to be ready for it. Having a great game today.
Yeah, Dixon with I believe at least 2 assists, 1 goal, perhaps more. Certainly she had the first layout block, and that makes a statement. First point of the game.
And all of the energy in the sideline.
I know, and it's a shame that viewers at home right now can't see her cheers on the sideline, but it's pumping me up.
I know.
And I'm in the booth.
I am fired up. I am so fired up. So Amp takes the lead, 10-9. And she's Dixon back out at it again.
I'm getting some help from Tony Leonardo here on Twitter, and he says that Metro North beat Amp at Nationals in pool play last year. So there's some info of
where
they might have seen each other recently at Nationals.
So happy there's so much knowledge. I love that social media is able to bring that because we're in such a vacuum here otherwise. Only so much research that we're able to bring into the game prior.
Metro North here on offense. Nice catch.
Very acrobatic.
McClelly.
Today in with the disc.
Looking for Murphy. Goes on the inside to Yum.
Now Foreman back to Yum. Quick dish over to Doyle. Up the line, that was behind, but Murphy still able to catch it. Today in, tail and all. That is threading the needle. When they say thread the needle, exhibit A.
Yeah, nice catch there from Foreman. A very small window to receive the disc in. We'll get a chance to see this once more. Today in with the disc, and then finds this cheeky little forehand as a lefty. He's able to release that a lot quicker than right-handed throwers are, and able to take advantage of that situation right there. Metro North with a well-needed hold, and it looks like we have a timeout here on the field.
Oh, it was instead of threading the needle, it was more like threading the tail. It's a good one. Good one. Very crucial. So you're either team. What do you say in the huddle right now to stay active, stay motivated? I mean, how do you not stay motivated when it's 10-10? But
Right.
the mental toughness, I think, is just so key here.
I know. I think for Metro North, they get in trouble when they hold the disc too long. So hit the first open player, trust your teammates. From AMP, it's got to be, keep up the defensive pressure. We're going to get breaks eventually. At some point, it's going to happen. And continue to make space for each other. Those are the two things. That's what I would say in those timeouts. Hopefully I could motivate them.
Well, you are insightful. That's exactly what Korber told me before the game. He said, we can't hold the disc too long. And so is something that he is telling his team.
Wonderful. Yeah, out of this timeout, 10-10. With AMP receiving, it's pretty crucial. Like you said at the beginning of this game, both these teams are 2-0. The winner of this game, they go into day 2 with a bit more reassurance, I think. There's still 2 games of pool play tomorrow morning, and then from there, teams will advance to bracket play. The 2 top teams in each pool will go directly to semifinals. There's no quarterfinals, unless I'm mistaken here, but I believe that's how that works.
I think you are correct. I'm looking at the bracket right now.
Yeah, we've got these incredible packets from USA Ultimate that have, all 126 teams roster information. Because, of course, Youth Club Championships is starting tomorrow at the same complex, and it's been wonderful today. There have been so many YCC teams walking around, watching some of the phenomenal Ultimate this year, and that'll only continue to happen tomorrow.
So AMP working it up underneath, gaining yards.
Mazafari to Normile. Back to Mazafari.
And Mazafari putting that big throw up. It's deflected, but it stays active. And that's a score for AMP.
Nice space that she found there, and a nice setup of a cut, sort of an S cut there to open up that break side space. Or excuse me, I guess it was a forehand. It was a forced forehand, so it's the big side. But nice edge to it.
It had a great edge to it.
Yeah.
I think that edge too also helped Trissolini, even when he didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah, he was able to stick with it. Yeah. Nice work there from the 2 players, connecting there on that crossfield shot. Fun to watch.
So now Metro North's offense on the field. We've talked about Bosco, Stern, and Korber really working together. Chris Mazur, a big part of that offensive set last year, but you really see these 3 guys, and then certainly, don't want to discount any of the women and their contributions as well, but
yeah,
you can tell the chemistry between those 3.
We've seen some really strong contributions from Doyle specifically, as well as Rignell and Middleton, no doubt. Yum as well has really had a couple of really nice grabs, in addition to, I believe, Nelson? No. Well, I'm getting the names confused, but...
so, big pull lands in.
Lands in bounds, but rolls out, so it'll come to the front of the end zone. Bosco picking up the disc. Horizontal set here from Metro North, which we haven't really seen much of.
And Korber coming under, had a little bit of pressure, but I think that's a pass that he would typically catch. But late in the day, now AMP
Chance to break.
The goal line. A stoppage. I wonder how many times I've said stoppage today.
Stephen Ning with the disc now. Nice inside to Dixon.
Dixon reading perfectly. She's looking for the dump. And that is force side. Amp with the score.
Benelli finding separation. He's setting up that cut really far away. We'll get a chance to see these passes once again. Dixon, she's going to dump it back to Stephen Ning. Nice find there. And then Benelli creating that separation, beating his defender to that line.
So Metro North now down by 2.
Yeah, that's a crucial break for Amp. That's an important one, right? It's 12-10 now.
I do want to remind the public, Showdown was down 12-10 earlier to Traffic and in the previous round and ended up taking the game. So no lead is, as they say, no lead is safe.
No lead is safe, it's true. And Amp knows that they're going to continue putting out strong lines, continue putting pressure on this Metro North offensive sets, and really clamp down. Metro North, that was an interesting set. They had a horizontal stack. Who knows if they would have flowed into vertical after that? I'm not sure, but I kind of like that. It gave them a little bit more space than they had before. Probably trying to stay away from some of those picks.
Right.
Right. Keep it a little
keep the flow going.
Yeah, clear delineation of where the space is, where we're attacking, and where we're clearing. And
so it looks like Metro North has 3 handlers back, but a split stack, if I'm reading the field correctly.
Yeah, and a nice pull there from Amp, but another pull that lands in bounds and rolls out. Good job by Middleton to not, try to, it landed out of bounds. Good job by Middleton to not doubt herself and decide to catch it.
So now Metro North from the brick mark. Bosco to Stern, around to Middleton. Middleton back over to Stern. Layout attempt, but
There
was a pick call.
Interestingly enough, I think that the disc should actually end up staying with Aaron Leonard, but
I appreciate the ISO stack.
maybe not. Maybe it was far before the play.
So Stern now dishes to Middleton.
Stack is very deep now. They haven't adjusted to the dump set.
Dixon with the layout attempt, but Ragnell with a great read. However, Metro North not gaining too many yards. Now Allison Yum with the disc. Back to Ragnell. Over to Bosco.
Yeah, a lot of passes here for Metro North. Not many yardage gains. Now we're seeing some forward momentum as Bosco gets that disc up the line.
And straight up the line, it is tipped, but it is caught. And observer says, yes, that is in.
Great grab by Adam Stern. That disc is tipped, I think, by the defender, but it's no problem. We'll get a chance to see this one again. Really nice throw, and maybe not tipped.
Oh, it was just outside, so there wasn't a defensive tip. Very close, though, and heck of a grab.
Heck of a grab, and Stern has really been quarterbacking that backfield, really going every other. It's fun to see him go up the line and kind of get downfield and be the one to score that goal. And he's been pulling a lot of weight for this Metro North team. This O-line has had to work really hard for every single point that they've gotten.
Definitely so. I love it when I see handlers go deep.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, energizes the offense a lot too, because it's something so unexpected, and the defender isn't ready or expecting to play that kind of defense either.
Yeah, it brings a little bit more, dynamic movement to the offense, for sure.
So Amp is up 12 to Metro North's 11. The horn has not sounded yet, so currently we're still at a game to 15. Remember to send us your questions.
If you have any, yeah.
Yes.
Check me out on Twitter.
Send them our way.
At QXHNZ.
And at Emmy Fitz.
If you wanted to give me a follow, that would be pretty sweet. I'm almost at 1,000 followers.
We gotta get you there.
Yeah, I'm in competition with my sister. So if you're into sibling rivalry, give me a little like. You know, it's hard being the little sis sometimes.
Exactly. I'm the oldest, but I can understand from my sister's point of view.
Mazafari with a great grab as Amp here is on offense.
Now Peleg with that flick, and that is all the way in for
with
Heen.
What a nice throw. Same third huck, but has a really nice edge on it. And Heen is able to keep his eye on the disc the entire time, able to track it down. Get a chance to see this one again. Nice flick here. Does a nice shimmy fake, getting around the mark.
Great
and
cut.
Heen, yeah, able to keep his eyes on it. You know, he never has to worry about having to change the direction of his head or anything like that. Nice hold there from Amp. Pretty smooth. There's a pretty high grab from Mazafari at the beginning of that possession, but otherwise nicely played by Amp there.
So now Amp with the 2-goal advantage. They're 13, Metro North 11. Game to 15.
I just got one more follower. I'm at 999.
Oh, you are close.
Who's gonna be my 1,000th follower, y'all? I gotta give like a prize or something.
Right.
What am I gonna give to the 1,000th follower?
If only there was some kind of ultimate gear you had access to. It could be a prize.
It could be. Yeah, you know. You follow me, we can talk about it. Hey. I help you.
Gina knows people who knows people.
Metro North here on offense, really coming down to the wire. Amp is now up 13-11. Metro North needs to hold, needs to get their defense back out on the field. It's starting to get a little blustery, so a lot of focus on this offensive line. Doyle with a disc.
Metro North working it on that far sideline. Finds underneath to Bosco. Bosco, lots of touch to Yum. Yum
with a
puts up
huck.
The flick huck. And there's Lauren Doyle
on the other end of it. And that's quite visionary. I did not see that spacing, but she saw it and she executed that throw really nicely. That throw was above Doyle's defender. We'll get a chance to see this one more time.
And that's a throw that the wind has died down. That would not have been able to complete with all the gusts earlier today.
Yeah, that is true. Really nice throw there from Yum.
Beautiful.
Nice female-to-female huck completion.
So,
and Metro North gets to put that D-line out there. They need this break. You know, 13-13 is a very different game than 14-12.
Very much so.
Amp is trotting out their offensive line. Some of the same players we've seen. Ing, Thompson, Shields, to name just a few of them. Mazafari.
So Metro North to pull this experienced D-line on hand. I did get additional tidbits from Chris Mazer about our tail friend Dave Tadeyan out on defense. He actually plays in the Masters division.
Right hand, Luke, right hand, Luke, right hand.
And they placed third and qualified for Worlds when he caught the winning goal.
Oh.
So championship mentality there. Meanwhile, Amp puts up the big huck, backhand huck.
Trissolini looking for Ing.
And Ing hoping on the second attempt, not there.
Nice D there from Tadeyan. Able to just get a hand on that. Knock it out of the way. That's exactly what Metro North needed. Now they have a shot here at a break. We have Yum picking up the disc, walking it up to the front end zone line.
A little bit of miscommunication for the cutters on Metro North. You had two cutting under at the same time. That created a what else but a pick.
Disc is reset though. Murphy has it in the middle of the field. Metro North players are all pretty deep. And Thompson with a near layout block on that throw. Able to maintain possession though.
And the throw goes up out of power position. Today is the intended receiver, but Ing is there, so no good.
Yeah, that throw had a lot of zip on it, a lot of angle, and it angled a little too far out of Tadane's reach. Pretty much a gift for Amp here. They'll have another shot at holding for this point.
So Trissolini will walk it up for Amp. Immediately have a deep look, kind of running out of using that full field. And intercepted. Metro North with another chance to tie. Regnell back over to Murphy. Stack a little bit too deep. Adjustments.
Oh!
Layout interception from Ing.
That was incredible. I think Ing is certainly not the tallest player, but when he's full extension layout, getting a catch block, you realize just how big of a human being he is.
Timed so well.
Wow, can't wait to watch that one on replay, and just like we got a chance to see. But back to the live action. Amp with a disc. Shields. Nice break backhand. Now with Mazafari.
Ing right on the goal line, swinging around.
Trissolini with a disc now.
And Ing with the bookends in his own right.
Wow, what a point for Mike Ing. And, you know, this is not his first bookends of the game. We talked earlier, he had an incredible D in one end zone and then ran the full 70 yards and got the goal in the other. So very fun to watch here, and we're really getting down to the wire. 14-12, Amp leading Metro North.
So Metro North is in a must-score scenario here, being that Amp is in a game, will have game point if they score.
Yeah, and it's very interesting here, just the difference in energy between these two teams. Metro North, we have a number of players sort of ambling about, walking around, pretty quiet, no cheers being led. Amp, on the other hand, has this really awesome sort of team huddle in the middle of the field where they all come together, they all have a cheer, they all clap, and then they all disperse, and they're all together. Two very different styles. You know, each team has its own personality, has its own team culture. But it's very apparent right now, especially as Amp is in the lead and Metro North is trailing just by 2 here.
So Metro North pulling Pelig to pull to Metro North. Pretty much right exactly, and almost a layout block from Amp. Stays alive, another layout attempt. Korber with the reception. He swings over to Bosco. Bosco's looking for Stern.
Nice mark.
Instead,
there.
puts that up in the air. There's Korber. Korber with the grab.
Over the Amp defender, and that's really nice. I think really good job on the Amp defense there. He was squeezing on the mark. We're getting a chance to watch this again. Forcing the high stall count throw. Korber, of course, putting a lot of power and a lot of zip on that throw, and he's able to curve it so that it goes above the defender more towards that break side, and that's what allows Korver to make that play. And certainly it was a great grab, but that throw was really something very, very nicely executed.
So impressive. So Metro North just 1 point shy of a double game point situation.
Scenario. Yeah, and as I look,
Which it is a win by 2.
I think the horn went off.
It did go off. Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure. Who knows? I just looked back at our crew, but I'm not sure. But it's interesting as I'm sort of looking around the field complex. This is the last game that's still playing. There are a couple other teams that have, are currently in spirit circles or are decleated and doing their stretching routines as teams. But this is some fantastic ultimate at the end of the day, and really fun to be here and to get a chance to watch it. It's a great game.
Very, very exciting, no doubt. A lot of the Dragon Thrust players on the sideline.
Yeah, they just played in the other streamed game, and now they're here watching some of the best players in the nation compete on the field.
So Trissolini, Huck right away, and that is dropped.
Looking for Rosso and unable to connect there. It's hard to tell from my angle what exactly happened, but a really nice throw from Trissolini.
So Metro North now looking for options, not a lot, ends up dumping into their own end zone. Dishes out for Doyle. Doyle over to Dayan.
A lot of contact there from that amped player.
Swing around. Metro North moving it all the way to the other side of the field, now centering. Up the middle, Dayan gaining yards. Yum with that baseball and falls to the ground.
It looks to me like he slipped. I don't think there was really any contact. I've been playing out on these fields today, and I can tell you there's some pretty intense dirt patches out there that if you get caught in one of them, you go down fast. That happened to me today, and I've seen it happen to a lot of people. So that could be what happened right there. As there's another stoppage of play here. Raymond with the disc for Metro North on the doorstep. Could be bringing this to a tied game, but looks like the disc will be coming back to Dayan.
So Metro North with 3 back, approaching their red zone if they are not already in their red zone offensive set. Dayan, big fakes, swings around to Yum. Yum over to Doyle. Doyle finds her teammate Macaulay in the end zone.
And that's a break to bring it to 14s. Wasn't it just a couple minutes ago that we were talking about, 14-12,
No,
but Metro
lead is
North
safe.
bringing it in to within 1. We're getting confirmation here on exactly what we're playing to. So we'll let you know as soon as we know that.
And it's still underway.
Yeah, we've got Evan Lepler walking out onto the field, going to converse with the observers, just to ensure.
A gentleman and a scholar. Which you can catch Evan on the ESPN broadcast. The men's final on ESPN3 on Sunday. The women's final, ESPN3 Sunday. The mixed final, moving on up to the Dose, ESPN2 in prime time.
Yes,
Sunday,
we're
August
excited about
6th, 7 p.m. And I actually thought I saw on Twitter, ESPN is bringing back the Ocho for one day. And I've heard unconfirmed reports that they will do a replay of the mixed final on the Ocho Day. So tune in to ESPN.
All right, so sounds like we have a hard at 16. Is that correct? Okay. 14 hard to 16. Great.
So not necessarily double game point quite
Close to
yet.
it.
but very exciting nonetheless. That's a Blady pull to give Metro North more time to get down on defense. Peleg ends up finding his teammate upfield. Normile back to Peleg.
Back to Normile.
Now Ing.
Incredible grab, able to elevate and keep that possession. Stepping through that mark.
And Peleg keeping it active. He throws and goes, creating that separation to get the disc back. IO flick, and out of the reach. That was Zumbrum to Dixon.
Yeah, that's a tough throw. That's sort of inside out back into a fading cutter. That's a really tough throw to connect on, but really nice inside break there from Ing to Zumbrum to create that possibility. Metro North on offense. Doyle in the middle of the field to Murphy.
Murphy swings around. Foreman, a lot of coverage. Back to Murphy. From our angle, it did not look like it would complete, but it did. There's Ing.
Ing with just a run-through block there on an undercut, just proving that at 14-14, he's out here to play, and he is not tired.
Oh, youth. 20-year-old Ing for his third bookends of the game.
And looks like the observer's calling that in, but players on the field seem to be unsure of the call, but of course observers, that is an active call made by the observers, and so that's an inbounds. That's clearly inbounds, no discussion, that's a goal.
So remember, it is win by 2 to 16, so the game is not over.
No, I think it's hard.
It's hard.
to
I'm
16.
sorry,
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
to
yeah.
16.
Yeah.
They need to win by 2, which is why the game's not over yet.
So Amp here, if they break here, they win this game. Metro North need to hold here. Of course, we've said that over and over again, and then they've been able to do it. So they've done it before; they can do it again.
Well, no, what happened when it was throwing in?
At the same time every day, though? Like, why would that be a question?
So
I have to say, I'm really enjoying this game. I'm finding it a really wonderful display of mixed ultimate and like a true version of that with a lot of different contributions from everybody. And also, and just because, let me try to explain myself. I'm enjoying the high level of skill all around. And how those two things are not mutually exclusive. Like that is what's making this game really special.
Certainly, incredible show today in with the disc. Swings over. Working a lot underneath. In a vert stack, but trying to keep that force lane open. That huck goes up. It's floating.
Oh!
And
Wow, looking for Palmer, and it looks like
Palmer calling a foul.
and Robinson getting that block. We'll get a chance to see this again. We have Bosco putting up this big huck, looking for Palmer. Maybe we'll get a better chance at it right here. I think
You can see that Palmer does the clap catch, but what you can't see is where the disc is really when that clap catch happens. It seems like the deflection was before the clap catch, but
yeah, I think that to me as somebody that, I've had a recent knee injury, that looked pretty spooky on that replay, bidding into his knees. It seems.
and
I
that's
would probably
the
still be on the
other
ground.
part. Right, right.
taken out.
And that's the other element of Spirit. One of the several elements of Spirit of the game is actively trying to avoid contact as much as possible.
And I actually think that the defender Robinson did try to not engage that contact. He tried to bid sort of in front of the defender and in front of Palmer and not into him. But I think on the follow through, that's where the problem occurred. Disc is going back. Looks like neither of the players is going to the observer, which is pretty interesting. So Bosco will keep the disc. And unclear here what the disc is coming in on, what the stall count is.
So disc is tapped in. Now it's live.
Looking for Middleton. Nice fake there to move the mark. Up to Palmer. Tripping in that that dust pile that I was talking about before.
There actually is a hazard cone, several hazard cones on this field.
Yeah. Bosco. To Middleton. It's funny, we're both getting really quiet. I think it's that sort of the tension is palpable, and we're both literally on the edges of our seat, just trying to take it all in and watch everything that's happening. Everyone is moving so quickly down the field and adjusting their cuts and reading what the defense is giving them and reading what the thrower is communicating with their fakes. It's near block there, but Metro North back to Stern, looking for Today in. And I don't think the defender actually touched it, but I believe that Steven Ning's presence with that bid made Today in drop that disc.
I think it did, because there was a big flash right in front of him, and he was so close. I think he was trying to toe it in. Too many things happening at the same time. Now it's Amp disc. If Amp scores here, the game is over. If Metro North scores here, we're in a double game point scenario.
Walsh with the disc, and it looks like there's a timeout called. So, this game keeps going on, y'all. We're with you. You're with us. Thanks for sticking around. Long game, exciting game.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, really.
And it ain't over.
The parking lot starting to thin out. Fans on the sidelines still there, but, we've seen groups leave at certain points during this game, and the Fulcrum group that was in charge of the other stream is now tossing the disc at the end of the day, getting their shot at some Frisbee fun. They've been working really hard today, so that's fun to watch.
Such an accomplishment with all of the coverage. Definitely more ultimate even after today. Metro North trying to keep the mood light with a bit of a conga line on the field. You want to stay focused but loose.
Yeah, that's
it's a fine line between the two.
Yeah. That's the challenge right there. So Amp here is going to have the disc. We've got Steven Ning with the disc. Looks like 3 players isolated in space and a violation called.
The disc is in, Amp in a host stack, and almost looked like that was going to be blocked. But Benelli catches it, but is hopping off the field.
Yeah, he just seemed to have moved his left arm, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's perhaps a nagging injury or something that's been giving him trouble before. But play resumes.
Big Huck goes up. Women on women and no good.
Well, really close there. Looking for Bova.
I love it personally.
We'll get a chance to see this once again.
Also, this observer, I guess
We've
it's
got
not gonna be
Peleg
full, but-
ripping that forehand to Bova. This is a better angle than what we had before.
Yeah,
Bova trying to go up, and hard to tell if her feet get tangled before she's able to make a play. Who knows?
They go to the observer. It's ruled no foul. So they will tap the disc and it will go back live. Metro North picking up. Adam Stern walking it to the line.
Wow, this has been a really long point. We've had one timeout already.
You're right.
To Dayan, up to Palmer. Looking for Bosco. Throws through the contact to find Stern. And Stern looking
straight up the line. That's caught by Bosco. Now there is a stoppage of play. It almost seemed like Bosco was going to call a timeout.
That's what I thought as well. And then I was not
Another
sure.
horn.
Yeah, so I believe that is timeout called.
Interesting from a team near enough to both
And so I just heard another horn go off, which makes me wonder if this is now essentially hard cap. Which, you know, if Metro North scores it, then it's, I guess it doesn't change in the end, sorry.
Right.
Sorry to be confusing. Yeah, because if Metro North scores it, then it goes to double game point, game to 16. If AMP scores, game, you know, we said game to 16, hard to 16, then it's game over anyways.
So Metro North
way.
in the red zone with a chance to tie.
And send this to double game point.
So exciting.
So exciting. It's hard for me to stay in my seat. It might be because I've been drinking a lot of water and I need to use the restroom. I don't know. But I have a feeling it's really tightly connected to how exciting this game is.
Right, I know. I'm getting antsy too. I also need to put my sweatpants on, but they're over at the other tent. But there's so much excitement. It makes a huge difference to be able to watch these high-level games. I can speak from experience being from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, having club nationals there several years in a row, being able to take youth players and young players to see the best of the best is so energizing to an ultimate community.
As we
And Palmer with the reception, and
that's a goal,
that's
folks.
a goal.
And now we are truly in double game point territory. I think there was a little bit of confusion there as the AMP player was still on the ground. We'll get a chance to see this one again. Bosco finding Palmer. Good job by that defender just to attempt to get into that space. I believe that is Robinson on that bid, but he's up and you know, walking around, so it seems like
working
he's okay.
very hard. All of the players adhering to the wait, celebrate rule until you officially see it from the observer.
I know. It's something that as a player it can feel sort of weird to wait to celebrate, and you're like, well, we just scored. Why do I have to wait? But really, really helpful when there are calls, and you know, when somebody gets hurt or something like that. You know, also very, very helpful.
Definitely so. So Metro North keeping it interesting.
Double game point. I did not think we would be here. I'm not going to lie. It just, but maybe I just speak too soon. I don't know.
It's grit. So much grit from both teams.
This has been a really fun game to be a part of, and hope you've been enjoying it as much as we have.
And for this double game point, it will be a 4-woman, 3-man gender ratio. So that pull very, very high and around.
Outside in, and there's like a little bit of sun now, which adds this level of difficulty for catching. It certainly was not present before. Normile looking for Ing in that space, and now finds him Normile busting up line.
And disc is on the far sideline. Normile looking for a receiver. She finds one. And now Amp on the goal line. Can they keep their patience? A give and go.
Trisellini had so many open players and just didn't throw it. Back to Trisellini.
Trisellini and Lake out. And that is an inside flick break throw.
You know, but who else too? None other than
Mike Ing.
Mike Ing.
What a game
What a
from
game.
Mike Ing.
And Amp really comes away with that one, probably feeling stronger and confident in what they're bringing to the table. But, you know, having faced a little bit of adversity and some challenges throughout this entire process. Who to you would you say MVP for both teams?
I would give Mike Ing the MVP for Amp with 3 bookends in such crucial moments as well. And I think being able to keep such high energy. Although Alicia Dixon, I should say, she had a great game as well and really helped set that tone.
Yeah, you know, blocks, assists, and goals. She had it all. Right.
Incredible. Plus being able to maintain that presence for her team. That's intangible. It's not statistics, but certainly helps contribute.
And then Metro North, what do you think?
Metro North, I think Bosco had a really great game.
Yeah, Bosco did a good job sort of distributing that disc and then putting the disc where his players could get to it at high stall count situation. What about a female player?
Exactly. I think on the female side, Liz Middleton was very much a calming force, but I've got to hand it to John Korber saying Elsa Rignell, she was so constant cutting underneath.
Yeah.
So clutch.
I feel like we were constantly saying her name, and she was that isolated cutter in their set, and found, you know, had a nose for the end zone for sure.
Exactly. Would you name anybody else as those players of the game?
I would have to give a shout out to Lauren Boyle. I thought she moved the disc really well, attacking up line, attacking around, enabling Metro North to like stay in this game in a lot of ways that are not going to show up on the stat sheet. But
exactly.
Very impressive game.
So amazing for Ultimate. Well, that was a heck of a game. Amp takes it by 1. They will remain unbeaten for Friday in their pool play over Metro North, 16-15. And that is it for us for now. Stay tuned tomorrow for additional coverage. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald for Sheena Titcomb. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Every time we touch the license, we play better. Let's go take down the field.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Bird Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.